The WNBA just witnessed something that nobody saw coming. While Caitlin Clark sat on the sidelines nursing her injury, her teammates just exposed a secret that could change everything about how we see the Indiana Fever. And it involves two players who weren't even supposed to be on this team. But here's what's really wild. Kelsey Mitchell just dropped a bombshell comment after the game that had everyone reading between the lines. She called their new additions a, quote, blessing in disguise, unquote, while taking what many saw as a subtle shot at the player they cut to make room for them. If you're Team Fever, hit that like button right now and let's expose what really happened in Dallas. Picture this scene, August 1st, 2024. Caitlin Clark watches from the bench for her 6th straight game with that nagging groin injury. No timeline for her return. The pressure mounting. Everyone expecting the Fever to fall apart without their superstar point guard. The Dallas Wings hosting at American Airlines Arena, with Paige Beckers hungry for a win after dropping 8 of their last 10 games. What happened next shocked the entire league. The Indiana Fever didn't just win. They obliterated expectations by breaking 4 franchise records in a single night. They proved they're not just the Caitlin Clark show anymore. They're a legitimate force that just moved to 4 games above 500 for the first time since 2015. And the craziest part? The 2 players leading this transformation were sitting at home unemployed just 3 months ago. Let me tell you about Arie McDonald. This woman's story reads like something Hollywood would reject for being too unrealistic. Start of the season, no team wanted her. 0 offers. She was basically basketball's version of unemployed. Then on June 25th, the Fever called with a rest-of-season contract after she'd been with them for just a couple weeks on a hardship deal. Fast forward to this Dallas game, and she's dropping 15 points with 6 assists while running the offense like she's been there for years. This came right after her career-high performance against Phoenix, where she proved she could handle the pressure. But here's what makes it even crazier. She just became the 3rd fastest player in Fever history to reach 150 points and 50 assists. The only names ahead of her? Caitlin Clark and Tamika Catchings. That's like being 3rd behind Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Then there's Khloe Bby, another mid-season pickup that nobody was talking about. She wasn't on anyone's radar. No hype, no expectations, just another depth signing. But in this game, she knocked down multiple 3-pointers and set a franchise record by hitting multiple threes in each of her first 3 games with the team. No other Fever player had ever done that in franchise history. These weren't supposed to be game changers. They were insurance policies, backup plans. Now they're rewriting what this team can be. But let's talk about what Kelsey Mitchell said after the game that had everyone buzzing. When asked about McDonald's impact, Mitchell didn't hold back. She said, quote, "This is our blessing in disguise. We always tell her that we appreciate her seriously," unquote. Now, that might sound innocent, but remember, the Fever had to waive Diana Bonner to make room for these signings. Mitchell's comment about blessings in disguise while praising the new additions. That's NBA-level shade right there. Mitchell herself was on another level against Dallas. 23 points on 9 of 19 shooting, leading the team in scoring while shouldering the load Clark usually carries. She now leads the entire WNBA in 20-point games after the All-Star break with 13 this season. She's been carrying this team on her back and making it look easy. The game itself was a masterclass in team basketball. Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard did something that's never been done in WNBA history. They became the first teammates ever to both record at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in the same game. Think about that. In the entire history of women's professional basketball, no 2 teammates had ever achieved those numbers together until that night. Boston finished with 12 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Howard matched her energy with 11 points, 16 rebounds, which was a career high by the way, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. They dominated both ends of the floor like they were playing a different sport than everyone else. But here's where it gets controversial. The free throw disparity had fans going crazy on social media. Dallas shot 25 free throws compared to Indiana's 13. That's almost double. Fans immediately started calling out the refs and accusing Paige Beckers of flopping to draw fouls. Even Dallas head coach Latricia Trammell looked frustrated with the officiating after the game. Speaking of Beckers, the rookie did everything she could to keep Dallas in it. 22 points on 7 of 14 shooting with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She was literally the only Wings player to reach double digits. That's both impressive and concerning if you're a Dallas fan. One player can't beat a team that's clicking on all cylinders. The real disaster for Dallas came from Arie McDonald. The reigning most improved player had an absolute nightmare game with just 4 points and 5 turnovers. In the final minute of the third quarter, she dribbled up court and launched a shot that had fans questioning if she'd forgotten how to play basketball. Her struggles became the turning point that let Indiana pull away. When the final buzzer sounded, the score read 88-78, a 10-point win that felt more like 30. The Fever had just proven they're building something special with or without their superstar. Coach Stephanie White's reaction said it all. She talked about the team's resilience and depth, but you could see the excitement in her eyes. This wasn't just about winning without Clark. This was about discovering they had multiple ways to win. White specifically praised McDonald's point guard mentality and Bby's ability to stretch the floor, something they hadn't had before. The 4 franchise records broken that night tell the real story. First, Boston and Howard's historic teammate performance. Second, Mitchell leading the league in 20-point games post-All-Star break. Third, Bby's 3-point streak to start her Fever career. Fourth, McDonald becoming the 3rd fastest to reach her points and assists milestone. But wait, there's more drama brewing behind the scenes. Remember how I mentioned Mitchell's blessing in disguise comment? Well, sources close to the team suggest the locker room chemistry improved dramatically after the roster changes. Players were reportedly more relaxed, more confident, and playing with a freedom they hadn't shown earlier in the season. The US versus the world mentality that White preached was finally taking hold. The timing of these moves wasn't random either. The Fever's front office saw an opportunity when McDonald and Bby became available and pounced. They knew Clark would eventually return, but they needed players who could contribute immediately and mesh with the existing core. These weren't panic moves. These were calculated decisions that are paying massive dividends. And here's something that'll blow your mind. The Fever are now 4 games above 500 without their best player. When Clark returns, they're adding an all-star point guard to a team that just proved it can dominate without her. That's not addition, that's multiplication. The chemistry they've built, the confidence they've gained, the roles they've established. Clark gets to walk back into a well-oiled machine instead of a team desperately waiting for her to save them. The league better be terrified. Because what we saw in Dallas wasn't just a good team winning without their star. It was a glimpse of what the Fever could become when everyone's healthy and buying in. Mitchell's scoring, Boston and Howard's dominance, McDonald's playmaking, Bby's shooting. Add Clark to that mix, and you're looking at a potential championship contender. But let's not forget the individual brilliance we witnessed. Mitchell's 23 points came exactly when the team needed them. She attacked the rim with purpose, knocked down clutch shots, and showed why she's been one of the league's most underrated players for years. Her 13 20-point games this season prove she's not just a complimentary piece. She's a legitimate star in her own right. Howard's 16 rebounds deserve their own highlight reel. She was snatching boards like the ball had her name on it. Career highs don't just happen by accident. They happen when players feel empowered and confident in their roles. Howard knew this was her night to dominate the glass, and she delivered in spectacular fashion. Boston extending her double-double streak to 5 games shows her consistency. But this wasn't just another double-double. This was a complete performance that showcased every aspect of her game. The 5 assists proved she's not just a traditional big. She's a playmaker who can facilitate from the post and find open teammates. McDonald running the offense with the poise of a 10-year veteran was perhaps the most impressive sight. Remember, she wasn't even in the league 3 months ago. Now she's quarterbacking wins against playoff teams and setting franchise records. Her court vision and decision-making had coaches around the league taking notice. B's immediate impact from beyond the arc addressed the Fever's biggest weakness. They desperately needed floor spacing, and she provided it instantly. 2 3-pointers might not sound like much, but when they come at crucial moments and open up driving lanes for your guards, they're worth their weight in gold. The 88-78 final score doesn't tell the whole story. This was domination disguised as a close game. The Fever controlled the tempo, dictated the style, and never let Dallas get comfortable. They played like a team with something to prove and proved it emphatically. What makes this even more impressive is the competition. The Dallas Wings aren't pushovers. They have talent, they have coaching, they have home court advantage. But on this night, none of that mattered. The Fever imposed their will and sent a message to the entire league. We're not going anywhere. The post-game atmosphere in the Fever locker room must have been electric. 4 franchise records, a convincing road win, proof they could thrive without their superstar. This was validation for everyone who believed in this team's potential. Mitchell's comments about appreciation and blessings showed how tight this group has become. White's system is clearly working. The ball movement, the defensive rotations, the role clarity, everything clicked against Dallas. This wasn't just talent winning out. This was preparation meeting opportunity and execution following through. The coaching staff deserves massive credit for keeping this team focused and motivated during Clark's absence. Looking ahead, the implications are staggering. When Clark returns to join this confident, cohesive unit, the Fever won't just be adding a player. They'll be adding a superstar to a team that's already learned how to win without her. That's the recipe for something special. The rest of the WNBA should be worried. Very worried. Because the Indiana Fever just showed they're not a one-player team anymore. They're a deep, talented, hungry squad with multiple ways to beat you. Add a healthy Caitlin Clark to this mix, that's not just a playoff team, that's a championship contender. If you're excited about what's coming next for the Fever, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because when Clark returns to join this record-breaking squad, you won't want to miss a second of what promises to be an incredible run. The Fever aren't just back, they're better than ever, and the best is yet to come.